Hi, I'm Julieta. Most people call me Jules, except for my mother-in-law, Diane. She's always insisted on using my full name, pronouncing each syllable like she's chewing something bitter. My son Marco was celebrating his 8th birthday with a small ceremony at the community center attached to the local church when everything fell apart. Jules, have you noticed Diane acting strange lately? My friend Vanessa whispered as we arranged cupcakes on a tray. Strange how? She's always been intense, I replied, carefully placing candles on the chocolate frosting. Vanessa hesitated. Like, more than usual. Yesterday at the grocery store, she was asking me all these questions about your custody arrangement with Eric. I paused. What custody arrangement? Eric and I are married. That's what I told her. She just smiled this weird smile and said, for now. I laughed it off, but my stomach tightened. She's probably still upset that we're moving to Portland next month. She thinks it's too far from her. Did you see that text she sent in the family group about protecting her bloodline at all costs? Eric's sister Kim approached, lowering her voice. Mom's been talking to Uncle James a lot, and you know he's unstable. She's just being dramatic, I said, but doubt crept in. Eric said he'd handle it. Where is Eric anyway? Vanessa asked, scanning the room. Running late. Work emergency. I checked my phone again. No messages. Kim fidgeted with her bracelet. Jules, has she ever mentioned her contingency plan to you? Her what? She told Dad she has a contingency plan if you guys move. I thought maybe... You mean like a grandma weekend once a month? I asked, trying to keep my tone light. Kim shook her head. No, she used those exact words. Contingency plan. Dad seemed worried about it. Why didn't you mention this before? I felt my heart rate quicken. I thought Eric would have told you, Kim said. I only found out last week at Sunday dinner. The double doors burst open. Diane stood there, flanked by Eric's Uncle James and Cousin Pete. Both men had visible bulges under their jackets. There he is, Diane announced, her voice eerily calm. Marco, honey, come to Grandma. We're going on a special trip. Marco looked confused, clutching his toy dinosaur. But Mom said, your mother doesn't make decisions for you anymore. Diane smiled tightly. James, Pete, get him. The men moved forward as screams erupted. I lunged toward Marco, but Pete grabbed my arm. Let go of me! I struggled against his grip. Marco, stay where you are! Shut up, Pete hissed. This would be easier if you'd just cooperate. Let go of my son! I shouted as James approached Marco, who began crying. The pastor stepped between them. Ma'am, you can't! James shoved him aside, reaching for Marco. Kid, come here now! I don't want to go! Marco screamed, backing away. Mom! Mommy! That's when Officer Davis, who'd been dropping off his daughter, drew his weapon. Everyone freeze! Police! The chaos that followed is still a blur, but I'll never forget Kim's voice as she pulled me into the kitchen afterward, her hands shaking. Jules, this was planned. Mom's been talking about taking Marco for weeks. She hired those guys. They're not even our relatives. Eric knew. He's been stalling you while she arranged everything. Eric knew? The world seemed to tilt beneath me. I found text messages on Dad's phone, Kim said, tears streaming down her face. Eric told them which entrance to use. He was never coming to the party. He was going to meet them after they took Marco. Mrs. Reyes, I need you to walk me through exactly what happened, Detective Larson said, her notebook open as we sat in the station's interview room. Marco was with Vanessa in the children's area. They came to kidnap my son, I said, still struggling to process it. My mother-in-law brought armed men to take Marco. And your husband? He wasn't there. But according to his sister, he was involved. The detective's pen paused. That's a serious accusation. Call him, I challenged. See what he says. She did, putting him on speaker. Eric's voice filled the room, panicked. Jules? Where are you? Where's Marco? Mom called saying there was some misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? My voice cracked. Your mother brought armed men to take our son? What? No, that's not... They weren't supposed to be armed. It was just supposed to be a A what, Eric? I demanded as Detective Larson raised her eyebrows. A temporary situation until we could work things out? Work what out? We don't have anything to work out. I could hear the hysteria rising in my voice. The move to Portland. Eric's voice hardened. You're taking my son away from his family. Mr. Reyes, Detective Larson interrupted. Are you acknowledging you were aware of a plan to take your son without your wife's consent? Silence, then. I want a lawyer. After he hung up, Detective Larson turned to me. We're arresting your mother-in-law and the two men. As for your husband? Charge him too, I said firmly. Later that day, Sarah from Victim Services helped me get an emergency protective order. The evidence is overwhelming, she explained. Kim's statement, the text messages, security footage from the community center. But Diane's already hired Thornton. Who? Calvin Thornton, expensive defense attorney. He's already spinning this as a family misunderstanding. A misunderstanding with guns? I was incredulous. They're claiming the men weren't armed, just reaching for phones. That's a lie. Officer Davis saw... I believe you, Sarah assured me. But this might get ugly. Are you prepared for that? What choice do I have? I asked. They tried to take my son. Some victims drop charges when family's involved, Sarah explained gently. The pressure can be intense. Not happening, I stated firmly. Not after what they did. Kim arrived, sliding into the chair beside me. I just came from Dad's. He's furious with me for betraying the family. You did the right thing, I told her. You don't understand. Kim's voice trembled. Mom has friends everywhere. The judge she'll appear before? Mom hosted his daughter's wedding. That's concerning, Sarah admitted. So what do we do? I asked. Kim leaned forward. I know where she keeps everything. The notebook with her plan, the payments to those men, everything. But we need to get it tonight, before Dad destroys it all. Sarah looked uncomfortable. I can't advise you to... I'm not asking for advice, Kim interrupted. I'm telling you what I'm going to do to protect my nephew. Are you with me, Jules? I thought of Marco's terrified face. Yes, let's end this. Hello, Julieta. Diane sat across from me in the visitors area, her usual perfect appearance slightly diminished by the jail uniform. I assume you're here to drop the charges? Actually, I'm here to let you know we found your notebook. I kept my voice steady, watching her face. Her smile faltered. I don't know what you're talking about. The one where you detailed your plan to take Marco. The one with receipts for payments to James and Pete, who, by the way, have both flipped on you for reduced sentences. Those idiots, she muttered, then quickly composed herself. Whatever Kim told you is a lie. She's always been jealous of my relationship with Eric. We have the texts, Diane. We have everything. Eric agreed with me, she hissed, leaning forward. He knows you're an unfit mother. Taking my grandson across the country? Away from his family? His family tried to kidnap him at gunpoint. It wasn't going to be forever, she insisted. Just until we could get emergency custody. Eric was going to claim you were unstable. And the guns? She waved dismissively. A precaution. You've always been dramatic. Dramatic? My son has nightmares now. He's afraid to go to school because he thinks someone will take him. He'll get over it, Diane scoffed. Children are resilient. Not when they're traumatized by their own grandmother, I shot back. I was protecting him, Diane insisted, her voice rising. You never understood our family values. You've been poisoning him against us from the beginning. By what? Loving him? Protecting him? By filling his head with ideas about moving away, starting fresh, as if his heritage means nothing? Her carefully maintained composure was cracking. Kim, who had been silently observing, spoke up. Mom, do you even hear yourself? Stay out of this, Kimberly. You've done enough damage. The only damage was done by you, Kim replied. And Dad. And Eric. Diane's eyes narrowed. Your father had nothing to do with this. The payments came from his business account, I said. That's... Diane stopped. Look, Julieta, we all made mistakes. I was worried about Marco. Perhaps I overreacted. Overreacted? You tried to steal my child. I'm sorry, okay? Her voice softened, suddenly pleading. I made a terrible mistake. I love Marco so much, I wasn't thinking clearly. Save it for the judge. I stood up. Please. Diane reached for my hand. I'm his grandmother. He needs me. He needs to feel safe. I pulled away, which he never will around you again. You can't do this. I have rights. Not anymore. You're making a mistake. Diane's voice turned cold. I was willing to be reasonable. I was willing to apologize. Your apologies mean nothing, I said. They never did. As we turned to leave, Diane shouted, This isn't over! Nobody crosses me and gets away with it. I'll make sure you never feel safe either. The guard stepped forward. Mrs. Reyes, that's enough. You'll regret this, Julieta. I promise you'll regret this. As Kim and I walked away, the detective who had been observing nodded. Well, we can add witness intimidation to the charges now. All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Michaels presiding. 6 months had passed since that terrible day. I sat beside my attorney, Rachel, as Diane entered with her lawyer. Eric was being tried separately, but today was Diane's sentencing. Mrs. Reyes, Judge Michaels addressed me after the formalities. Would you like to make a victim impact statement? I approached the podium, my prepared statement in hand. Your Honor, 6 months ago, my mother-in-law orchestrated an attempt to kidnap my 8-year-old son during his birthday party. The trauma of that day continues to affect him. He still has nightmares. He still asks me if bad people are coming back. I looked directly at Diane. The defendant has shown no genuine remorse. Even her apology in jail was followed by threats. She violated not just the law, but the sacred trust between family members. After I finished, Diane stood for her statement. Your Honor, I have had time to reflect on my actions. Her voice quavered with practiced emotion. I made a terrible mistake out of love for my grandson. I'm deeply sorry for the pain I've caused. She turned toward me. Julieta, I hope someday you can find it in your heart to forgive me, to allow me to be part of Marco's life again. We're family. Judge Michaels studied her for a long moment. Mrs. Reyes, your actions show a disturbing level of premeditation. You recruited armed men to abduct a child, conspired with your son to deceive his wife, and then threatened the victim after your arrest. But Your Honor, Diane began. I'm not finished. Judge Michaels cut her off. This court takes the safety of children very seriously. This was not a momentary lapse in judgment. This was a calculated plan that could have resulted in tragedy. Judge Michaels delivered his ruling. 5 years for conspiracy to commit kidnapping, with additional charges for the intimidation. As Diane was led away, she approached me one last time. Julieta, please. I've lost everything. My son, my husband's respect, my reputation. Can't we start over? For Marco's sake? I looked at her steadily. You didn't lose everything, Diane. You threw it away. And no, we can't start over. Some bridges can't be rebuilt. He'll need his grandmother, she insisted. He has Vanessa's mother. She's been wonderful. That woman isn't family, Diane spat, the mask of contrition falling away. She's more family than you'll ever be, I replied. She actually cares about Marco's happiness, not just possessing him. Diane's face hardened. This isn't over. Actually, it is, I replied. Goodbye, Diane. Later, at Vanessa's house, we celebrated the verdict with Kim and Detective Larson, who had become a friend. How does it feel? Vanessa asked, passing me a glass of wine. Complicated, I admitted. I'm relieved, but also sad for Marco. He lost half his family in this. He gained stronger ones, Kim said. I'm officially Cool Aunt Kim now. What about Eric's trial? Detective Larson asked. His lawyer is pushing for a plea deal, I said. But the prosecutor thinks we have enough for conspiracy charges to stick. Are you ready to face him in court? Vanessa asked gently. I have to be, I said. For Marco. Detective Larson raised her glass. To justice. And to moving forward, I added. Our Portland house is ready next month. You're still going? Kim seemed surprised. With better security and a restraining order, I smiled. I won't let fear dictate our lives. I'm proud of you, Jules, Vanessa said. Not everyone would have the strength to follow through like you did. I didn't have a choice, I replied. The moment they threatened Marco, they lost any right to be in our lives. That night, tucking Marco in, he asked the question that had been coming for months. Mom, will Grandma ever say sorry for real? I stroked his hair, considering my words carefully. Some people don't know how to say sorry in a way that matters, honey. But we don't need those people in our lives. What about Dad? Will he say sorry? My heart ached. I don't know, sweetie. But even if he does, some actions can't be undone with just words. Are we going to be okay? He whispered. Looking at my son's face, I saw strength there, a resilience that mirrored my own. Yes, I promised. We already are. What would you do if someone you trusted tried to take away what matters most? Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't about getting even. It's about moving forward without looking back.